Hello, grade 5. Welcome to this part of social studies. We're going to talk about industrialization. All right, from 1820 to 19 no, sorry, 1820 and 1905. Okay, so these are the objectives today. We're going to define the term industrialization. Then we're going to identify the causes of industrialization. Then 3, we're going to identify some of the characteristics. And 4, understand the consequences of industrialization. All right? So let's start. First, what does it mean? Industrialization is the process that happens in countries when they start to use machines to do work that was once done by people. Okay, so you know that a long time ago, everything was made by hand. Now the machine arrived, and now it's possible for humans to use machines to do work. All right, maintenant c'est facile pour les êtres humains d'utiliser les machines pour faire du travail en les remplaçant. And that's industrialization. Ça, c'est l'industrialisation. Lorsque le moment est arrivé que la machine prend le contrôle, prend le contrôle de toute la partie de production et que les usines commencent à ouvrir. All right? It's the moment factories open. Okay, so this is exactly what happens before industrialization. Well, artisans are the ones who create everything the population needs. Donc, la population a besoin de choses. Les artisans se chargent de tout. They work by themselves or with an apprentice. Donc, ils travaillent avec eux ou avec un apprenti. Ils ne sont pas tout seuls. The apprentice learns from the artisan and after a long period of time opens his or her workshop. Donc, normalement, l'artisan travaille avec l'apprenti et l'apprenti, lorsqu'il a fini de apprendre, il ouvre son propre atelier. So, in this case, the apprentice is always with the artisan and both work together. When the apprentice finished learning, they finally can open their own workshop. Artisans work with different materials. Donc, les artisans travaillent avec beaucoup de matériel différents et c'est ça que nous avons vu dans les vidéos précédentes. That's exactly what we looked at in the previous videos about how artisans work different kind of materials. It takes a lot of time to create something. All right, so that's very important. When you want to do something and you do it by hand, it takes a lot of time. Everything is made by hand. So for sure, if you do something by hand, it takes a lot of time. So then what happens? Well, industrialization starts around 1850. Why? Well, first, the population is getting bigger. More and more people, that means more and more needs. Donc, plus la population est grande, plus on a des besoins. Well, what do you think is going to happen? Qu'est-ce que tu penses, qu'est-ce qui va arriver? Well, if we have more people, we have more needs, then we have to produce more. On doit produire plus. But just before we said that it's too long to make something by hand. Ça prend beaucoup trop de temps de faire quelque chose à la main, right? It takes so much time. So we need machines. We need machines to produce things for the population. So here we have some examples of factories. Here above, you have an example of a factory here. And here you have an example of another factory. Now people work together in factories to produce objects, to produce different kinds of materials, to produce different kind of objects. Even sometimes food is now going to be processed in factories. So a lot of factories are built. More and more workers spend entire days in the factories. Donc plus en plus les travailleurs restent dans les usines. But the work conditions are not good at all. Les conditions de travail ne sont pas bonnes. And that's what we're going to look at. All right. So, as you know, when you live in the countryside, you are a farmer. Lorsque tu vis à la campagne, tu es un fermier. But people actually want to they want to be rich. Ils veulent être riches. They want to get more money. They want to have something more. So that's why they go to the big cities. Ils s'en vont aux grandes villes. Families want more money, and for that reason, they leave the countryside. They decide to live in the city. Ils décident de vivre dans les villes. A lot of them live in small houses close to the new factories. Donc, beaucoup d'entre eux habitent proche des usines pour pouvoir aller travailler. A lot of them, they work close to the factories. And what happens when people from the countryside go to the city? Well, the city becomes bigger and bigger. That's what we call, this is the name that we give it when people come from the countryside and they get to the city. It's called urbanization. Okay? So l'urbanisation, c'est ce qu'on appelle lorsque les personnes, c'est le terme qu'on donne lorsque les personnes viennent de la ferme et qui s'en vont dans les villes. Et les villes deviennent de plus en plus grosses. That's exactly the term we use, urbanization. So this is an example of how the population changed. So in blue, you have urban areas. As you see, in 1851, in blue, 10% of the population live in the city, and almost 85%, or actually 90%, live in the countryside. But then, look what's happening. Around 1905, more and more people are leaving the rural areas, and they go to the city. Here we have around 35%. And then look what's happening in 1931. More people live in the city than in the countryside. And today, in 2002, well, today no, but in 2002, look at how much people live in the city and look at how much people live in the countryside. So urbanization, it's something that happened in Quebec since then 1851, and it's still increasing today because people go to the big cities because they will find a good job and they will gain more and more money. These are some of the big cities where people go. So for sure, Montreal is a big city and a place where urbanization can be actually seen. Other two important cities are Quebec, Quebec, Sherbrooke, and Trois-Rivières. Those other three cities are very important as well. A lot of people are coming from the countryside and they go to the big cities. Okay, let's continue. Well, what is happening in the factories and what is happening right now in the society? Well, there are people that are, some people are very rich and some people are very poor. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about social inequalities, des inégalités sociales. Well, workers have very poor working conditions. Ils ont vraiment de très mauvaises conditions de travail. In the factories, well, they have to work for long periods of time. They don't have good security, and sometimes they're not paid enough. They have to work for a long period, and they have to live close to the factories. Ils doivent vivre proche des usines. So imagine living close to a factory. It's not the best thing because around factories there's not enough hygiene, and well, it's too loud, especially with sound. And in addition, when factories, they use a lot of charcoal to make sure that they can make the factory work. Ils utilisent beaucoup de charbon pour pouvoir faire fonctionner les usines. Entrepreneurs, well, they have more money and always get more money. They get richer. Les entrepreneurs, ceux qui travaillent, ou les boss, on va le dire, ceux qui sont dans ceux qui ont les usines à eux, well, they get a lot of money, right? And they get richer and richer. Ils deviennent de plus en plus riches. They live far from the factories. Ils habitent vraiment loin des usines. They live in very wonderful neighborhoods. Ils habitent dans des quartiers extrêmement magnifiques. and they enjoy their good quality of life. Ils sont très contents de leur qualité de vie. They don't have to work. They don't have to listen to the noise. They have good hygiene. They can actually go to the theater. They can go to the park. They can have a lot of different things because they have money. But as you can see, workers and entrepreneurs, they are not equal. Ils ne sont pas égaux en termes de richesse. So that's something that we call social inequality. C'est l'inégalité sociale. They are not having the same amount of money and they're not having the same conditions. Some of them, they have poor conditions and some have very, very good conditions. So that's an inequality. C'est une inégalité sociale. So workers get mad, les travailleurs se fâchent, and they create unions. What is a union? Well, that's something in French that it's called un syndicat. Les travailleurs se fâchent et ils commencent à créer des syndicats. We're going to see exactly what it means to be part of a union. So what is a union? A union is an organization that protects the workers when the employer is not taking good decisions about working conditions, salary, and security. Okay, so let's imagine we have a union and you are not listened by the employee. Tu n'es pas écouté par ton employeur, ça veut dire tu n'es pas écouté par ton boss. That's why the unions are created. Les syndicats sont créés. C'est un groupe de personnes qui protègent les travailleurs qui n'ont pas de bonnes conditions de travail, qui n'ont pas un bon salaire et qui n'ont pas une bonne sécurité. Donc, avec ce groupe-là, ce groupe, c'est une façon de protéger les travailleurs qui n'ont pas les bonnes conditions de travail. All right? So what do they do? Qu'est-ce qu'ils font? If a worker gets injured, the union pays for the worker's salary. Par exemple, si un des travailleurs se fait mal, il ne peut pas aller travailler, alors le syndicat va pouvoir payer pour son salaire. Dans d'autres mots, avant d'avoir des syndicats, les travailleurs, ce qui se passait, c'est que s'ils se faisaient mal, ils ne pouvaient pas retourner au travail, même si ce n'était pas leur faute, ils perdaient leur travail, ils ne pouvaient plus avoir de l'argent. Donc, ils ne pouvaient plus manger. That's exactly what is happening right now. The unions are trying to protect the workers so the workers can get money and they can continue working. If the employer does not want to change his or her mind about a demand, the workers go on strike. Donc ça, c'est un autre exemple des syndicats qui arrivent, et même aujourd'hui, parce que les syndicats existent, ils font partie de notre société. Let's say that the boss, your boss, okay, is not happy about something. Ton boss n'est pas content avec quelque chose et il décide de ne pas changer d'idée par rapport aux conditions de travail, au salaire, etc. Cela veut dire que les syndicats vont se charger de faire des grèves. That's exactly what we call a strike. A strike, c'est une grève. What is a strike? Qu'est-ce qu'une grève? On va parler de ça dans la prochaine diapositive. All right, so remember, the unions, they can protect the workers, and if something is not right, they can go on strike. And that's what we're going to talk about. What is a strike? Well, what is a strike? A strike is a movement when the workers stop working. Donc, la grève, c'est un mouvement de personnes, un groupe de personnes, ou tous les travailleurs qui décident de ne plus travailler. So that's something that even today still exists. Les grèves existent encore aujourd'hui partout, aussi pour les grandes entreprises. So strikes, when a strike happens, well, the workers stop working. And let's see, how does it work? Well, first, workers stop working. Two, in most of the cases, they go on streets and protest. Donc, dans beaucoup de grèves, les travailleurs protestent. Donc, plutôt que de rester chez eux et ne rien dire, ils vont dans les rues et ils protestent pour demander quelque chose qui ne va pas bien. 3. Well, the employer loses money. Ça, c'est une des raisons pourquoi on fait des grèves. Okay, see, if the employer loses money, it's a kind of pressure that they're putting on the employee. Donc, c'est une certaine sorte de pression